Hey guys, February 3rd, 4 o'clock. Feeling terrible. We bind that in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Ever since December, when I was in the hospital, I've been attacked with sickness left and right. I was going to share a little personal testimony about me, and when I first got saved. I've always believed in God, and I've always had a relationship with him, but I never had a relationship with Yeshua. And a couple years ago, before the pandemic, my sister had gotten me involved with this movement. I'm not going to even say it on. But it kind of opened my eyes up to what had been going on behind closed curtains. And I started hearing the voice of Elohim, God, and I've always heard the voice of Elohim. He's always talked to me, and I've always ran from him. And sometimes I've talked, and sometimes I would write. But I never knew that I had a prophetic gift until 2020. When 2020 happened, before the pandemic, everybody was acting strange. 5G was just coming out. Coronavirus had obviously already hit before 2020, because I saw cases in 2019, like back in November. But things just started to get strange, and this movement started to get strange. And, I just didn't quite know how I felt about it. But then, I heard the voice of Elohim speak to me. And I remember one night I needed a night to myself, and my boyfriend, who's now my husband, had me stay at my parents' house just to get a night to myself, because I just had a baby. I had been breastfeeding, and I just needed one night. And it all kind of clicked to me that Yeshua was real. And I will never forget that moment. I said, Jesus is coming. I didn't know it was Yeshua, but I was like, Jesus is coming. And it was really, really a memorable moment, because the Holy Spirit filled me. I started speaking in tongue, and reading my Bible and worshiping, and everybody just thought, well, she's gone nuts. But one of the days, I guess I was at my house, and I was in the living room, and I was listening to Bethel music. I've always loved Bethel music. I've always loved worship music, even before, I accept Yeshua in my heart. But I was down on my knees, and I was raising my hands, and I was swaying back and forth, speaking in the Spirit. And I was in tears, and I said, God, if this is truly you, of whatever is going on with me, if this is truly you, I need a sign. And I was just like, please, please, please send me a sign, something visible, something that I can see, like visual, like anything. Please let me feel like your connection, like let me know I'm not going crazy. And I heard, look to your left, and there was this brilliant hawk flying to me, and he flew to the window, and he looked right at me, and then he went, and I was like filled with the Spirit, and I was just like in awe. I was just like, oh my gosh, that was so supernatural, right? And ever since then, Elohim has always sent me hawks as confirmation every single time. It's unbelievable, right? And I have so many amazing stories where his voice talking to me, and I question, what if this is not Elohim and I'm talking to myself, and then this brilliant, beautiful hawk flies by. Or I'll be talking to my husband about something really important, and he won't believe me, but then a hawk will fly by, and he's just like, whoa, there's your hawk, right? And it gets more intense, since 2020. The more that I've allowed Elohim to work in my life, the more that my connection has become stronger with him. And the synchronicity of repeating numbers is real. It's real. I've always, I've always called them angel numbers, but I've learned that the numbers are biblical and numbers are made by our Creator. And there's always a meaning. And if you're getting repeating numbers, it's definitely your higher realm, your divine, trying to tell you something. So very, very cool with the Hawks, because I have stories that could blow your mind where you're just like, wow. So every time I'm in doubt, or if I'm hearing the Lord's voice, He'll send me a hawk right at that moment. And He's just so amazing. It's like He's the Alpha and the Omega, and He wrote my story. And I feel like before He wrote my story, He knew what was going to happen today. I feel like He knew what was going to happen the next day. I feel like He knew what was going to happen. And He's put these little clues everywhere to be like He knows my story. It's like He put the clues there before these days would come. It's like He knows the story from the beginning to the end, and He knew that I would need these signs from Him to awaken my spirit, right? And it's just so cool because you're just like, wow, He's a mastermind. He's like, it's a masterpiece. All of our stories are a masterpiece. And I'm kind of struggling right now because this COVID, I don't know what I have, but I was around a family that had COVID at the funeral, my grandpa's funeral. But what I was going to say is that don't ever doubt yourself like I do. Don't do it. Because the Lord has a way of communicating to you. It's different for everyone, For me, He can talk to me. He sends me hawks and numbers. I was going to tell a really cool story about me, too. Ever since I was a little child, my mom would call me very special. And sometimes she'd cry and she goes, I don't know what's it about you, but I know you're going to set the captive free. You're going to set the captive free. And I never really understood that. And I was going to say that I was in the hospital in December. Same thing. God was moving in my life and working in me. And I'm looking for my Bible because I wanted to share. But I was in the hospital and I kept on getting 10-10, and I've always gotten 10-10 and 1-2-3 for a very, very long time. Not to mention I've always dreamed about the story of Moses. I'm a mess. I'm just not feeling good. But when I was in the hospital, I had brought my Bible with me, and I would see 10-10. And I said, Lord, I have seen 10-10 almost all my life. What is it that you are trying to tell me? And He goes, well, Joe, open up your Bible to 10-10. And I love my Bible. It's called The Messenger. My mom got it for me. It's a purple Bible with my name on it, and she got it for me 15 years ago. And I love it, right? And so I opened up on page 10, and it was Isaiah 61, right at the top. Literally, Isaiah 61, and it was set the captive free. And I had already been reading the chapter of Isaiah over and over and over and over and over, and realizing the messenger is legit, guys. People are like, oh, no, it is legit. It literally is futuristic, because it's like God knew I needed that Bible for these. It's like He's amazing. He set everything up for my mom to buy that Bible for me, for that Bible. It's just so amazing, right? So anyway, all my angel numbers, page 77 is Psalm 91, and what page 123 was Moses at Mount Sinai and the 10 Commandments, right? And I've gotten 1, 2, 3 my whole life. And also 1, 2, 3 means you're moving ahead. So anyway, and my favorite story in the Bible is the story of Moses. So anyway, it's pretty cool, and how you realize the synchronicity when you truly wake up, and God, you may not be able to visibly see Him, how he's truly just rooting for you and showing you like, hey, I'm right here. And he leaves little signs. Like, it's like he knew that would be an important part of my story to continue for me to keep going in the direction I'm going. Because honestly, I've risked a lot, and being in all these hospitals and being labeled as bipolar and mental illness and all these things, I've realized that is not who I am. That's how the devil labeled me, the world. And I'm so close to my destiny. I need to not doubt. I'm so close, and I need to keep going. But the synchronicity of repeating numbers is truly important. It is not witchcraft. It is not paganism. Literally, God created the numbers, right? And he also created the stars, and there's symbolic meaning with the stars. Like one day, the Lord was like, go outside at night. I want to talk with you. And I went outside, and I was just like, what is it? What is it you want to say? And he said, you see all these stars? I said, yes. He's like, these are all my children. They're all names of my children. And I just didn't understand, but I was like, oh my gosh. And he goes, do you know how many stars there are? And I was like, no. He's like, well, there are more stars than there are grains of sand in the whole entire world. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of stars, right? That's a lot of children. And he's like, I love all my stars and I love all my children. And I thought that was really beautiful because, if you think about it, it does talk about the stars a lot in the Old Testament. I think he promised Abraham something about the stars in the sky and how many children he would get. But I'm just so grateful to know that I have a loving Father that wrote my story and put these signs here for me to help encourage me to keep doing what I'm doing and to never doubt and to keep on going and to keep moving forward. And I feel very blessed for that. Like today, he sent me a hawk. I'm leaving soon. I'm truly leaving. It's not like I'm disappearing or anything like that. Like, Elohim has it arranged for me to go elsewhere. I don't know how it's all going to work out. But also I believe that he has to protect me from in Babylon because, like, truly, I put myself in danger by the things I was sharing and exposing. A lot of stuff. So I just wanted to share that. I have other things that I want to share of, like, stories that have happened to me. Like, well, I guess I'll go ahead and just share it. Oh my gosh, it just said 1, 2, 3, 4. So, a long time ago when I got sober, I had a really good friend that passed away. He lived in Charleston, South Carolina, but he was from Charlottesville, where I'm from. And we were living in Charleston at the same time, and we became really close. This is when I had first gotten sober. I was 25. I'm 34 now. So it was almost 10 years ago. And he had passed away. He got in a terrible accident, and it was just terrible. Anyway, I went home for the funeral, which his mother actually provided and money for me to get to the funeral, which was really kind. And I had just recently gotten sober. It was just from, it doesn't matter. But I got sober, and through grace of God. And so when I went home, I stayed with my parents, and my parents were actually out of town, but my brother was there. And I stayed in their room, and I had a very prophetic dream, and it was me in the story of Moses, but it was like a cartoon, almost like the Prince of Egypt. And it was so profound, so vivid. I loved it, and I woke up, and I was just ecstatic that I was like, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to church. And so I went to Whole Foods, and I did smoke cigarettes then. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. It's been years. But I was writing and singing and writing and smoking a cigarette, having my coffee. And I was like, I need to stop doing this. I need to stop smoking. This is bad for my voice. Like, I need to write and start singing again. Like, I need to sing again. Anyway, I went to church, and the pastor, ironically, was talking about the story of Moses. And same thing that I dreamed. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Like, Elohim, what are you trying to tell me? And so when I got out of church, I got a phone call from my friend's mother. The funeral had been the day before, and she called me, and she's like, do you have time to talk? I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, I've been meaning to call you, but I wanted to tell you something, and you might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And she goes, we got a call from Brian's old rehab, I think she said Connecticut, somewhere up north. And, you know, they said a woman had called that rehab trying to get their number and to give them a message, and they asked if they could give them, you know, the number. And they said, no, well, what's the message? You know, we can give it to them for you. So anyway, they were like, would you like this woman's number? And, you know, they were like, no, what's the message? They're like, your son had a friend who's sober now, and she smokes, but she needs to stop smoking, and she needs to start using her voice and sing. She needs to sing. And that's what she told me. And I was like, wow. I was like, this is so bizarre. I was just a couple of hours ago, I was sitting there feeling like this very strong presence of that I needed to stop smoking and start singing again. Anyway, it's been years later, and God reminds me he needs my voice. I need your voice. I need your voice. I need your voice. He tells me this. He has a very big plan for me, and I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you what, whatever it is, I'm going to work hard for him. I'm going to serve him, and I'm going to do exactly what he needs me to do. And I'm not going to be scared. And I'm going to know the answers soon. I'm just patiently waiting. Like, I know the answers, kind of, but also I doubt it because it doesn't seem believable. But I've had too much confirmation to turn my back at this point in time. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to use my voice. And I believe that I'm a chosen vessel and that the Lord is going to use me in many places and other nations to help set the captive free. I believe that I'm a deliverer just like Moses was. I am a deliverer, and my job is to find the lost sheep and bring them home to the kingdom. So I just wanted to leave this video and just encouraging you, if you ever doubt yourself, or, you know, God's trying to tell you something, but you're doubting him and you just don't know, just remember all the signs he's given you. Don't let go of those signs, and remember that Elohim is truly trying to talk to you, and he always keeps his promises. So if he's kept some promises with you that don't seem believable, don't underestimate the power of God. He's about to show up in a mighty way, bigger than we could ever imagine right now. Bigger than we could ever imagine. And it's going to be exciting, but it'll also be dark. So I just want to encourage you to don't let the world underestimate you. Don't underestimate the power of God, and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm encouraging you to just keep going. Don't turn back on your assignment. Keep going. And don't let anyone get in the way of it, not even the enemy or your adversaries or whoever is trying to. And remember that all of our, you know, assignments are different in life. All of our plans are different. But I feel like that whatever we've been doing recently in these past years is not the plan that God had for us. And all of us are about to wake up to what our plans and dreams are. And our dreams are on the way. So anyway, I love you guys so much. And please pray for me. I don't feel well. I'm going to start sharing these videos to YouTube. And yeah, love y'all.